Okay, let's get started. Oh, wait, that's right. I have to pick a name first. This is actually quite hard. All of the good names have definitely been taken like 2 decades ago. Huh. Oh, wait. I know.
He never said his name, so it's up to me to give him one. I'm gonna go with Freddie.
Freddie?
Freddie.
Freddie?
Yeah, Freddie.
Freddie. Okay, just Freddie was definitely taken a very long time ago. So instead of just Freddie, we're gonna be just Freddie. Yeah, I like that.
Freddie.
Yeah, I don't know. This has absolutely nothing to do with Freddie Mercury. I just thought that was funny. Anyway, this is Freddie. Freddie is on a journey. Where is he going? I have no idea. What is he trying to do? I have no idea. I'm fairly new to the game. I have played before, but only for about 40 hours or so. Just enough to get a feel for the game and make sure this was something that I actually wanted to commit to, but not enough to really spoil myself on any of the content. We are a fresh Ironman account, well, hardcore Ironman, but more about that later, and I'm going to be playing through old school RuneScape for the first time. I won't really be looking at guides or optimal routing or methods. I want to find my own way through, which is almost inevitably going to wind up being wildly inefficient, but I'm okay with that. I do intend to look up things like drops, enemy locations, rough boss orders, that kind of thing. I could just brute force all of that and find it myself, but I really don't see a reason to torture myself like that. I suppose if you're looking for a kind of restriction for the account, it would be that I'm only going to use in-game resources. This is going to include RuneLite plugins and the wiki, but not very much beyond that. And hey, the wiki is built into the game now, so it's like having a very, very large manual. So each episode, I'm basically going to pick a goal for myself and work on completing that. My goal for today will be Camdozaal. I don't know, that seems good. I remember seeing it on my other character and it seemed quite cool. Also, the mace and the hammer you can get in there definitely seem like things that will be worth having. The hammer more so for the long run, but that mace will definitely be useful in the beginning. So let's begin. So I completed Cook's Assistant while I was rambling because I have very little interesting to say about it. In fact, I'm probably going to do that for the first few quests. I mean, what do you say about Restless Ghost? Oh no, there is a ghost. It's very spooky. Better go ask the weird old man in the swamp if he has any skulls lying around. Oh, he does. That's good. So, some of the more eagle-brained amongst you will have noticed that the game looks like this and not this. Well spotted. I actually agonized over this decision for a while, but ultimately decided I was going to be using the 117 HD plugin for RuneLite. I know this might upset some of the more traditional amongst you, and I'm not blind to that. I did think about this for a while. However, I did settle on going with the plugin for 2 reasons. The first being that it doesn't really affect a lot of the new areas. At least what I've seen so far. Kurend, for example, looks just fantastic. All the plugins really do is let you see further and improve the lighting and the shadows a little bit. Unlike, say, all of this region, which looks like so. The other reason is they're currently working on an official HD rework of the game for the official client. So my logic is that it will be an easier transition visually to the new client if I'm already using a HD pack. At least that's my excuse anyway. If it really, really does upset you, don't be afraid to let me know. If enough people aren't happy about it, I will change it. Well, this is old school RuneScape, so I will run a poll. And then, if enough people still aren't happy about it, I'll change it. Okay, Jagex, I will give it to you. Kurand really is quite pretty. But, oh my god, there is so much running around in this quest. I know, it's meant to be a tour, but... And you better believe that the 2 lamps from Client of Kurand have gone into rune crafting. We're now sitting at about an hour and a half into the account, and we have 6 quests done. And, to celebrate that, we're going to start training the single most useful skill in the early game for RuneScape, which I should have done before I did Client of Kurand, agility. And we're going to get a start on farming too, because it's never too early to start farming. And after not very long at all, that's 20 agility. I then remembered to go get the Ironman armor from Lumbridge, so that everyone can be aware of how hardcore I am. More about that later. Got Witch's Potion out of the way, because it's nice and quick, and then decided to start grabbing beads for Imp Catcher. I had an imp teleport 5 times before I could kill it. 5 times. Got the red bead, and the yellow bead, and the white bead, and the black bead, and that's Imp Catcher completed. I started a Porcine of Interest to get Slayer underway, and I was definitely not ready for that. I had to leave during the fight, which I didn't clip, so you'll never know about it, and it's a good thing I didn't tell you. Anyway, we came back later with a mithril sword and some better stats, and it still took over 2 minutes to actually kill the thing, and a good deal of trout shoved down my gullet, but that's a Porcine of Interest done as well. Next up, I decided to go do the easy Lumbridge Diary for the Explorer's Ring. I almost never use it for the run energy restoration. I prefer to keep that for emergencies. But I will get a lot of use out of the 30 low alchemy casts you get from it each day, especially now when I can't actually cast it myself. And that is 30 agility completed on the Alcarid rooftops. Next up, I decided to do Waterfall Quest. I made the classic blunder of using the chalice instead of using the urn on the chalice, and had to redo that part, which meant going back into the Moss Giant cave. And this is why I keep saying more about the hardcore part of the hardcore Ironman later. This happened. So we aren't gonna get too attached to keeping the hardcore status. I just don't know enough about this game, and it's far, far too easy to die. Maybe one day, but not this account. We did get the quest completed though, and moving on after that, we did Priest in Peril. This unlocks Mauritania for us, which will be important later. But for now, it represents a major milestone for this episode, as it also brings us up to 16 quest points. This lets us start below Ice Mountain. I cut it a little bit close on food, but we defeated the golem after some shady hippies convinced us they were doing archaeology and not crimes, and we can enter Camdozaal. Ooh, I like that. That's dwarf music right there. Doing Camdozaal, I really wish they'd lower the entry requirements. I suspect this is probably an anti-botting measure, but the fishing, cooking, and prayer experience would be incredibly useful for an account earlier on. The 16 quest point requirement pretty much means they'll be leveled to the point where the experience here feels very slow. At least unless you set out specifically to come here early, which I definitely did not know how to go about doing. I also decided to leave just until I had the rune pickaxe. I thought it would speed up progress here quite dramatically, and I'm getting quite near to being able to equip it anyway. While I was grinding for gold and the mining level I would need to equip the rune pickaxe, I got a few clue scrolls from geodes. I've been doing clue scrolls as I find them, mostly beginner clues, as I don't see too many easy clues, but we have seen a few mediums now as well. I had to abandon the first few that I found, but I did manage to complete one eventually. And we got an armadillo cloak. I can't actually equip this yet, but that's going to be great once we get up to 40 prayer. I think I'm definitely going to be getting some use out of this, and hey, it even looks pretty good. While I was doing that grind, I also decided that the Varrock chest from the Easy Varrock diary was going to be a thing worth having. I don't actually know if it's useful in Camdozaal itself, but the 10% chance of getting an additional ore from mining, and the same chance to smith 2 bars at once in Edgeville are very nice to have. The major hurdle for this diary is the kudos from the museum though. I did the natural history quiz for some kudos and a little bit of quick hunter and slayer experience, but I was still 12 kudos short of the 50 that I needed for the easy diary. So I took a look at the list of quests on the wiki that give kudos and settled on doing Haziel Cult first. I think I'll need 3 of them in total. So I completed Haziel Cult, that wasn't terribly hard. And then after reviewing the other quests, I decided that I did not feel like doing any of them right now. Instead, I felt that doing the dig site and then cleaning specimens in the museum was how I was going to go about getting up to 50. You know, skip doing quests by doing different quests. Galaxy brain maneuver right there. In order to do this, we have to get Druidic Ritual done, which is lovely and short, and unlocks herb lore for us. So after I did that, I spent a little bit of time at Chaos Druids and got the 10 herb lore that I would need for the dig site. The other requirement is 25 thieving, which I did primarily at the tea stall in Varrock. I thought it was very funny that I was just standing there, stealing a cup of tea, throwing it on the ground, and then immediately stealing another and just repeating that process. This did eventually get us up to 25 though, which let us start and then complete the dig site, and then we could start cleaning specimens in the museum, and not very long after that we hit the 50 kudos that we needed and finished off the Varrock Easy task set. Once that was done, I went and farmed up a little bit of extra gold and bought myself the rune pickaxe. With this in my inventory, I set about completing the Camdozaal log. Pretty quickly into the grind here, I got the broken Imkando hammer, which I repaired with Romano. An equipable hammer. Truly magical. While I was getting this clip though, I noticed that there seems to be a complete Imkando hammer on the table beside the Mystic Forge. Romano, is this a scam that you're pulling here by any chance? This can't be that rare, or some ancient mystical artifact if you've just got them lying around. I know that I complained about Camdozaal coming a little bit too late earlier, but I really do like it. It's an interesting little aside from the mining and smithing grind, and it's also pretty good looking. The Baronite head came next, so I just need the guard. I'm gonna switch over to golems, I think. I got the guard after only 143 kills, or about an hour and a half. That actually seemed to be quite fast. I was expecting to be here for longer. Once I had that, I was able to make the Baronite mace, which compared to the adamant mace is gonna lose a little bit of prayer bonus, but it's gonna gain 17 strength and 15 crush bonus, which I will absolutely take. After completing the Baronite mace, I got excited about my shiny new toy and took it out for a spin. I had been sitting on a Sour Hog Slayer task for a while, the boss from A Poor Sign of Interest, as it was going to be painfully slow to do with my current stats and gear, about 2 minutes per kill, and I managed to get an adamant kite shield on the first kill. I don't have the 30 defense to equip that yet, but that's a nice upgrade and soon. Continuing to be distracted, I decided that I wanted to upgrade to steel arrows for my bow, but I am too poor to buy them. So I fletched some oak bows and sold them until I hit 30 fletching, which made us about 2,500 gold, which is not nothing at this stage of the account. I then completed my 5th Slayer task and could now receive points for doing tasks. My first ever, real, old school RuneScape Slayer task is cows. Yay. With the distractions over, I returned to Camdozaal with a pot of coffee and settled in to complete the grind. I didn't even get to finish my first mug, because we got the last 2 items for the log in the same inventory. That completes the log for us, which was far quicker than expected. I think I spent about 5 hours in total here. I did go from 30 smithing up to 42, and 45 mining up to 52, along with 5 attack levels or so from the golems, which is not bad, definitely a good boost this early on. But I decided that I would unlock the perks here too, just so that everything looks nice and neat and I can declare this completed. And yes, even the temporary one. With the clarity of hindsight, I probably should have picked something a little bit harder for the first episode, but don't worry, we still have a very long way to go, and there are a great many grinds ahead of us. So, thank you for sticking around until the end of the first episode. And as a little reward for doing that, I have to come clean with you. First of all, it probably seems like I'm pretty familiar with parts of this game already. And that is partially true. I have a Mainscape and an Ironman account on RuneScape 3. And given that a lot of the base game and quests are shared between the 2 games, I've already seen a lot of this content. Now, actually doing it is very different in old school RuneScape. Agility actually means something here because run energy and teleports just aren't that important in RuneScape 3. But for a lot of the early game, I'm just gonna gloss over quests because I've already seen them. Old school RuneScape has gone off in its own direction though, so pretty soon we're gonna start seeing things that are new to me, and I'll talk about them a little bit more. Secondly, I am recording this from the future, about 2 months into the future, or 400 hours on this account. I'll make a few changes to the plugins that I'm using in RuneLite between what I recorded here and where I am now. and I eventually figure out how to get the full screen plugin working without breaking everything. So things are going to be a little bit inconsistent for the first few episodes. I apologize in advance for this and greatly look forward to the official HD client coming out. There will surely be an update about that any month now. And finally, this isn't just Freddie. This isn't even regular Freddie. This is Secretary Bird. Well, Sec Bird, because of the 12 character limit for names. Freddie died a pretty ignominious death in Karamja because I had no idea how hard that poison would tick. It was also pretty early into the account, so I decided I wanted to keep the hardcore status a little bit longer than that. So I created a new account. Now, Jagex are very good about name changes, and you can do it for free every 30 days, provided that the name is available. They also reserve names for 35 days for you. So, you have a 5-day window of reservation where you can reuse the name on a new character, and you have to wait 30 days to do that. So, by episode 3 or 4, this will be Just Freddie, and the original Just Freddie will become Dunt Stubble, our stunt double, whose name sounds like a sneaky swear. I apologize for the misdirection, but I hope that you understand. And now, I think I hear elephants at the gates. But fear not, I will be back soon.